Hi, and welcome to episode 14 of True Diaries. The theme of today's episode is the sense of sound. I'm going to cover the 5 senses, maybe even get into a 6th sense over the next 5 days, and how we can use our senses in heightened ways for stimulation for ourselves as well as for others. This is piggybacking on yesterday's episode where I talked about the different myths regarding porn and things that stimulate women, as well as being a gentleman and taking directions. And one of the things I thought of that I meant to say was a great way to encourage things that you do like, and this ties in with sound, is to let your partner as well as yourself know what you like by making certain sounds of enjoyment. You know, some people tend to hold back or fake it. You know, their reactions are more for their partners, whether it be facial expressions or sounds. But today we're going to focus on sound. So it's funny because my favorite sounds are the sounds of creation. Om. Om is actually in 3 parts. Ooh. Some people think, oh, it's ooh. So, or even the other one, oh. So we have ah, or oh, or ooh. Either one. Just even sing along with me now if you like. Looking at the sun setting in the distance too. Very stimulating. And there's either, like I say, oh or ooh. I tend to do both actually. And there's so I'm sure you can understand in some ways why meditating turns me on, but I actually close my meditation practices with that. It's just funny that, and those syllables in Om is known as the sound of creation. And just let's pause for a minute and think about that. Creation. Most of us are here from orgasms. Generally a male orgasm. It happens to be timed with our egg being, a perfect recipient. But there is a lot of power to creation and this sexual energy that is also creative. It's birthed out of nothingness. I've said this in previous episodes a couple of times. So one of the hardest parts and things that people miss is the fertile ground, like what it's incubated in, that darkness, that stillness, the silence. It is rarely truly silent. It's simply hard for us to calm down our thoughts oftentimes, but when you do, and when you get to be more in tune and listen, which is key, listening to ourselves as well as to others, and having some fun along the way. And I don't mean just, kinky fun, which is great too, but being relaxed, and laughter can oftentimes open us up, and it's contagious, and it can help put us at ease and relax us. So in terms of your partner, because believe it or not, like, I am someone who ideally, just about any person that I even just kiss, let alone have sex with, they make me feel amazing, and some more than others. One of the last lovers that I had was just phenomenal, and he actually told me about this TEDx talk called The Stroke of Insight, where Susan Bolte Taylor goes into how when she had a stroke, and she's a neuroscientist, so she knew what was going on. When she had a stroke, she went completely right-brained, meaning she felt nirvana and at one with everything, whereas it's our left brain that goes more into logic and more analytical ways of thinking, being able to say, even recognize a number for her to call 911. So anyway, she said she kept going back and forth between, knowing who she was, knowing her history, knowing her past, knowing her personality, to just being blissed out and at one with everything and feeling herself at one with God and all that is, which is pretty awesome. So she's a big advocate for us tuning into both sides of the brain, because she saw and experienced firsthand just how powerful being in that right brain state is. And so it's funny that this guy, every time I am with him, he could just be near me and I have trouble thinking. My left brain just shuts down, it feels like, and as soon as we start kissing, it's a wrap. So when he talks to me during anything sexual, I have to be like, wait. It's like coming back to, I'm like, okay, hold on. I've told him that I actually don't remember or know, I'm not coherent enough to respond. Maybe take directions, but yeah, my brain is not functioning logically. So even though he's someone that I'm fairly certain would love if I talk dirty to him, I just generally, it really isn't my style for the most part, other than saying yes, it feels amazing, like oh my god, or some other things I'm not going to say, but I'll leave it up to your imagination to think of what you'd like to say. But being vocal, that's the big thing, is using sound to turn yourself on, to turn your lover on, even if it's just whatever it is. For me, I have an upstairs neighbor. I live on a first, I live in a place where when my neighbor is home at times, if I am too vocal while masturbating, he would be able to hear me, or if I have my windows open, other people could hear me. So I am mindful of when I need to close my windows and be quieter, or when I don't. And I have noticed the difference, because I haven't always had these restrictions in my life. So when I have no restrictions and I can just make myself call out, but I'm not trying to, it just happens. It's like the sounds, it's pretty incredible, and it does contribute to my experience. And I think it would for most people, especially when it's coming out authentically and not something that you're doing for someone to see you, or because you're feeling watched, or if that's turning you on, go right ahead. I know there's a lot of voyeuristic people. That'll be an interesting sense for me to cover the visuals, because I am turned on visually, but by these kinds of things, nature and sun and the clouds and the moon and those kinds of things. So everyone has their twist, but for now, sound, even music. There was a time whenever I would make out with someone, this was more as a teen, or even, in my early years, when I would have sex with people, I just had to have music on. Portishead was my shit. That CD Dummy is just awesome. Love making music. Is a classic still to this day. But because it's like almost every song is a great beat and rhythm, and it's chill, and some slower and some faster, but it's all just trip hop. But that's what I like in terms of the sounds. Now, one of the biggest things that turns me on is my partner's breath. I love hearing their breath get shorter or deeper or sounds. Maybe the sounds of silence. There's a Depeche Mode song. Enjoy the silence. Yes. And be more mindful and conscious of the kind of sounds you like to introduce that do help to stimulate you and arouse you and take you into more blissed out states and into your right brain, at least sometimes. I'm not saying, I understand this is hard to do all the time. I'm not saying that's what we should even be doing all the time, because there are times when, we take the effects of these things and use them and implement them into our lives. But I do think it's important, very important, to tap into these resources that are here for us to help bring a more creative and stimulating and more authentic way of being into all the love that is here now, that we're making every moment of every day. That's simply my, of course, artistic interpretation. But, these are suggestions, as I always say. Do what you will. If you have any other suggestions or things you want to explore, or things that you'd like me to share with other people to give your perspective, I will gladly do so to the best of my ability anyway. Feel free to email me at redtruediaries@gmail.com. And yeah, I don't let comments below, so I'm just thinking if there's any other way or anything. I don't think you can inbox on YouTube. I'm also on Facebook. There's a Red Brianna Phoenix, but if you look for Red Phoenix, you can find me on Facebook too. So I think that's it. Yeah, we're at 12 minutes or so, so I'm gonna call it a wrap, and I'll end with my poem. Thank you for watching and listening. May you have a wonderful time exploring for yourself. Till we meet again.